China says it will conduct military exercises in the South China Sea this week, just days after Beijing bristled at a U.S. aircraft carrier group's entry into the disputed waters. A notice issued by the country's Maritime Safety Administration prohibited entry into a portion of waters in the Gulf of Tonkin to the west of the Liuzhou Peninsula in southwestern China from January 27th to January 30th, but it did not offer details on when the drills would take place or at what scale. A U.S. carrier group led by the USS Theodore Roosevelt entered the South China Sea on Saturday to promote freedom of the seas, the U.S. military said days after Joe Biden began his term as president. The U.S. Senate is expected to confirm President Joe Biden's nominee for Secretary of State, veteran diplomat Antony Blinken, on Tuesday, after the Senate Foreign Relations Committee voted strongly in favor of his appointment. After the 15-3 vote by the committee, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer said the full Senate would vote on Blinken. Although the committee's 3 no votes came from Republicans, Blinken is expected to be confirmed with strong bipartisan support. The U.S. Senate on Tuesday voted by a wide margin to confirm Janet Yellen as the first woman to lead the Treasury Department, giving her a key role in Congress negotiations over a huge COVID-19 economic relief package. Yellen is not new to the role of trailblazer, as she also was the first woman to lead the Federal Reserve from 2014 to 2018, and previously the White House Council of Economic Advisors. Her immediate job in the first weeks of the new administration will be to help win Congress approval for President Joe Biden's $1.9 trillion rescue package to secure U.S. economic recovery from the COVID-19 crisis. Alphabet Incorporation's Google said on Tuesday it will not make contributions from its Political Action Committee this election cycle to any Congress member who voted against certifying the results of the presidential election. Earlier this month, following the violent storming of the U.S. Capitol, the tech giant had paused all political contributions to reassess its policies toward political contribution. A Google representative said in a statement following that review, the NetPAC board has decided that it will not be making any contributions this cycle to any member of Congress who voted against certification of the election results. Italian Prime Minister Conte is expected to quit on Tuesday and try to form a new coalition government to tackle the coronavirus pandemic, which has killed more than 85,000 people in Italy and crippled the economy. Premier Conte survived a confidence vote last week after a coalition partner pulled out, but has been left severely weakened, and his resignation bid is seen as an attempt to avert a humiliating defeat in the Senate later this week. Media reports suggest the leader will seek a mandate to form a new government to replace a ruling coalition that has been on the edge of collapse since former Premier Matteo Renzi withdrew his Small Italia Viva party on January 30th. Thousands of Indian farmers, many on tractors, breached police barricades to launch a protest march in New Delhi on Tuesday, as the government held its main Republic Day military parade. Police imposed one of their largest security operations in years to stop the demonstrators who oppose agricultural reforms they say will decimate their livelihoods. Authorities had agreed to let tens of thousands of farmers stage a tractor rally as long as they waited for the military parade to finish. But flag-waving farmers on at least 3 major roads overran security and pressed on into the city. Police who put up barricades of containers and trucks fired tear gas on at least 2 groups. The European Union issued an angry warning to pharmaceutical group AstraZeneca on Tuesday over its unexpected delay in delivering millions of doses of its COVID-19 vaccine to the bloc. EU Commissioner for Health Stella Kyriakides said after a meeting of member state representatives and the firm that the European Union will take any action required to protect its citizens and rights. The EU Commissioner did not elaborate on what action Brussels might take, but she said Brussels would propose a transparency mechanism to track shipments of vaccine exported from the EU to non-member countries. The British public should not book any overseas summer vacation yet. The minister responsible for the country's COVID-19 vaccination program said on Tuesday, ahead of an expected announcement on tougher border measures. Prime Minister Boris Johnson has said he is looking at the option of introducing quarantine hotels for those arriving in Britain to prevent the risk of vaccine-busting new coronavirus variants entering the country. Parliamentary Undersecretary of for COVID-19 vaccine development, Nadeem Zahawi said there would be an announcement later on Tuesday. Media reports said that a requirement to isolate in a hotel for 10 days will apply to arrivals from most of Southern Africa and South America, as well as Portugal. Thousands of Australians defied coronavirus rules on Tuesday to protest the country's National Day, held on the anniversary of British colonisation of the vast continent that its indigenous population marks as Invasion Day. Officially recognised as Australia Day, January 26 also sees annual rallies drawing attention to the injustice faced by indigenous people and calling on the government to change the date of the national holiday. The celebration of the origins of the modern nation is a time of mourning for Indigenous Australians who have inhabited the land for 65,000 years and view the arrival of British settlers in 1788 as the beginning of 2 centuries of pain and suffering. The Netherlands has been hit by a second night of riots as coronavirus curfew frustrations boiled over, even as President Joe Biden said herd immunity could be achieved this year. With global infections fast approaching 100 million, any chance such community-wide protection is heavily dependent on the rollout of inoculations. But wrangles over distribution have emerged in recent days, with the European Union criticizing a delay in AstraZeneca's delivery of its shots and Russia and China offering to step into the breach of less wealthy countries with their homegrown jobs. Netherlands Prime Minister Mark Rutte told reporters that the weekend's street violence was unacceptable. Mexico's coronavirus death toll has surpassed 150,000, the government said on Tuesday, a day after President Andrés Manuel López Obrador announced he had COVID-19. The health ministry reported 659 more deaths in its daily update, taking the total to 150,273, behind only the United States, Brazil, and India. The overall number of infections registered now stands at more than 1.77 million in the nation of around 128 million, an increase of 8,528 from the previous day. President López Obrador, who is 67 years old, announced a day earlier that he was undergoing treatment for COVID-19 but said his symptoms were mild. The coronavirus pandemic took a huge toll on global jobs last year, the United Nations said on Tuesday, with the equivalent of more than $250 million lost. In a fresh study, the UN's International Labour Organization found that a full 8.8% of global working hours were lost in 2020 compared to the fourth quarter of 2019. The International Labour Organization said that it's equivalent to 255 million full-time jobs, or approximately 4 times greater than the number lost during the 2009 global financial crisis. China and New Zealand have signed a deal that upgrades their existing free trade pact, giving exports from the Pacific nation greater access to the world's second-largest economy. New Zealand Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern on Tuesday confirmed the signing of an expanded trade deal with China, noting its significance amid the pandemic. The agreement comes as Beijing seeks to establish itself as a strong advocate of multilateralism following a bruising trade war with the United States and as the coronavirus keeps international borders closed.